Welcome to a preview of this week's Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week as the Drake Bulldogs are getting ready to host the Missouri State Lady Bears. As Drake off their best start in at least the past 5 years, 13-1, sitting first place in the conference standings, and Missouri State nipping on the heels, 11-3 in conference play, tied for second in the standings as the two head coaches, Beth Cunningham of Missouri State and Allison Pullman of Drake, joining us here today. And ladies, let's start just with this game being the only game you guys will play against each other this year. Beth, just kind of your thoughts on facing Drake just once this season.
Yeah, it's certainly a little bit of a different year. Obviously I've only been in the league 2 years, but I think typically in years past you often play a home and away, and I know it's always been a big rivalry and something I think both sets of fans really look forward to. So, a little bit different, only playing than one time this year. Obviously, going on the road. Drake's been great. I mean, they've been outstanding all season. Certainly their statistics, their records, everything speaks for itself, but we certainly have a challenge on our hands. I know our kids are looking forward to the opportunity. It's just so different too, in that, we, at this point in the season, we're playing many of the teams just finishing playing them for the second time. And so Drake just has been just kind of in the distance, not really a whole lot of crossover, even with some of our scouts. So, it's just been a little bit interesting, a little bit different in that regard, but looking forward to the opportunity, and obviously know it's going to be a challenge playing at their place against a great team.
And Allison, I'll go same question to you. It's finally Missouri State week. Thoughts on playing them just once?
Yeah, well, it is. I'm going to echo exactly what Beth had talked about mostly. It's a storied tradition, of like just two very, very, very well seasoned programs, very like just strong mid-major programs that get to battle it out. And I love how she referenced, the fans, because I think the fans really, really enjoy this matchup. And so I know we're just really excited to host here, to be able to have them at our place, and not having to travel down to Bear Country this year.
Well, both of you have referenced the rivalry, and it really has become a rivalry over the years. And Allison, you've been in the league for a number of years. How have you seen this matchup between the Lady Bears and the Bulldogs evolve over the course of your time in the Valley?
I mean, I think it's really special. And I think what also you see are, it's just, there's so much respect for what both programs have been able to do, not just in our conference, but nationally. And I think a lot of times we earn a lot of Lady Bear fans, as like the season goes on, and especially, as both programs continue into postseason and such. And so I think what you have are two fan bases that really appreciate phenomenal basketball and talented, women that play the sport, which Missouri State has always been stocked with them. That's no different this year. And so I think it is a storied rivalry and tradition to be able to watch these two teams battle it out.
Yeah, Beth, you mentioned it, second year in. So coming in, did you have any feel or any idea, heard any of the rivalry coming in, and how have you seen that play out?
Yeah, absolutely. As I've mentioned before, even though I've only been in the league 2 years, have always had a tremendous amount of respect for the conference from afar. And although I hadn't necessarily really had any personal experience playing against really, very few of the teams that are in our league, knew the coaches from afar, had a tremendous amount of respect for the coaches and the talent that the coaches had brought in every year, and you knew the tradition and success of success in the postseason, success prior to conference season, watching the conference from afar. But it's really has just I guess reinforced what I felt like I already knew about the league, just being in it day in and day out. And then certainly there's certain schools that that you hear from your fans, as Allison mentioned, that you have those rivalries with, and there's a storied history. And I think that's that way because obviously Drake and Missouri State have often set a really high bar, for our league, and also outside of our league and the success in the postseason as well. So.
Well, Beth, there's a couple players that are setting a pretty high bar. I want to talk point guards here because we have Drake's Katie Dinnebier, fantastic season. But Lucy Stokes doing so much for you, has led the team in assists in all but 2 games, had 19 points against Evansville. A first-year Lady Bear. Have you found anything that she can't do?
Well, you talk about 2 point guards. Dinnebier has played about as well as anybody in our league, just night in and night out. It's really phenomenal to see what she's been able to do. And obviously she's leading the league in scoring, but you turn around and she's leading the league in assists as well. And her assist to turnover ratio, how she impacts that team is unbelievable. And obviously played against her last year, but just to even see her growth from last year, which she had a heck of a year last year, to see her growth from last year and then really even take more ownership of this team has been pretty remarkable to see. And I'm sure Allison absolutely loves coaching her. I love to coach. I love Lacey. I love our point guard. Obviously, a new player for us. I think she's had a tremendous amount of growth from where she came in beginning of the season to where she is right now. And she just brings all those intangibles to the table, and it's something that I certainly put a premium on. And she has really led us and really has set the tone for us really on both ends of the floor. And just really proud of her development, how she continues to get better game in and game out. And I still feel like her best days are ahead of her, but I've just been really pleased with how she's really expedited the transition and figuring our system out and really leading our team.
And Allison with Katie, triple-double earlier this season against UNI, now a double-double, 15 points, 10 assists against Belmont. Do you see, it seems like she's continuing to rise in her level of play.
Well, I think as Beth kind of alluded to, when you have that point guard position, a lot of times what they do, and it's exactly what I feel like Lacey does, like as really that spark plug, that kind of brings it night in and night out. But they do exactly what their team needs them to do. And we've watched Lacey make plenty of game winners, sort of situation this year. I mean, she's been a phenomenal addition, I think, for our league. I think, she's one of those, cogs in their like system that just really makes them go. And I've been, back to what Beth has said about Lacey. I think she's been, an amazing addition, but she's also like, she's one of those that's kind of scary to have to play against because she's dynamic. She does exactly what her team, like what she sets people up. She shoots the ball extremely well, coming off on ball screens constantly. And so, I think you're going to see a really, really awesome point guard matchup come Thursday.
Well, Brad talks about point guards. I'm going to talk about the matchup in the middle. And Allison, Anna Miller really has, I think, since the beginning of the season, really improved. And it's impressive what she's been able to do, 10 double-doubles. Talk about her game and maybe a little bit about the matchup in the middle on Thursday.
Yeah, well, I think Anna kind of similarly, as she started the year, I think each and every game you get to watch Anna continue to get more comfortable and grow. But yeah, she does a really nice job of when she's able to establish herself inside, and then also outside, which really kind of makes her game even flourish just a little bit more. The only thing like with Missouri State is they don't have one answer for her. They have 2 and then 3 and then 4. So, it's one of those situations where she's just going to have to get used to, playing against different people, being able to try to just get different edges inside. Because if you talk about an interior game, Missouri State definitely is one that's very, very, very top notch.
Well, and Coach Cunningham, let's talk about Kennedy Taylor. I mean, she has improved as well over the course of the season, and talk about her game in the middle and where you've seen her growth.
Yeah, I think she's probably been playing her best basketball as of late. I think that she was a huge spark for us, really in both tough road wins, this past weekend. I thought she really keyed us in a lot of areas. And, for her, it all comes down to her activity. And I feel like she's been much more active. I think that she's really played with a higher motor. And, when you have a kid that has KT's size and presence and athleticism, you know, that really changes us when she plays with that motor and that activity. And so I've been really pleased with how she's been coming along. For various reasons, started bringing her off the bench shortly after conference play started, and it's been huge for us. I mean, it's been something that I think she's been playing her best basketball. Whether it's starting or come off the bench, I look at a number of different rotations we could have used, and it's been really good for us to have that coming in off the bench. And again, I think it's kind of, for whatever reason, has gotten her to play at a higher level as well.
Well, Beth, your Lady Bears have won their last 4 road games. How does a game like this kind of help you prepare for that Missouri Valley Conference tournament?
Well, I think regardless, you know, I think if you're going to be successful in the league, you know, people always put a premium and an emphasis on, you know, home and away and playing at home and playing on the road. But bottom line is, if you're going to compete at the top of the league and do what you want to do, you consistently have to be really good night in and night out, whether it's at home or whether it's on the road. And you know, certainly we've been challenged at home, we've been challenged on the road, and you know, you talk about the conference tournament. Certainly we're playing on the road. You're playing in another arena, and you know, I think you know, you're just trying to have as much momentum as possible heading into that tournament, and you know, just put your kids in the best position possible. So you know, it'll be a challenge starting on, you know, Thursday night with Drake, and you know, to finish the season. And as I always tell our kids, every game, no matter who you play, it counts the same amount. So, you know, just staying focused on task at hand, and like I said, trying to have as much momentum as possible and put yourself in the best position possible heading into the conference tournament.
And Allison, 4 of your last 6 games will be at home inside the Knapp Center. Bringing a team that's battling for that regular season conference title to your place so late in the season, how do you see that helping build towards the conference tournament?
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of alluded to, you know, just that momentum and continuing to build that, and I'm going to feel a little bit like a broken record, kind of echoing what Beth has to say again. But they are all big. Every single contest, you know, and you talk about the success of the Missouri Valley Conference, and really, you know, whether it's standings or whatever else, but every night you step on the floor, it's a grind, and it's, you know, a lot of times you have to sometimes squeak out gritty wins, and sometimes you know, you win and you still don't feel good about it. So, but you, I mean, in all honesty, though, they're definitely a situation where you want to continue to have your players feel extremely, extremely confident, and feel really good about, you know, kind of what we're building toward, which is the Missouri Valley Conference tournament.
Well, Allison, Beth, thank you so much for joining us. Laura and I are looking forward to this one. It's Thursday night inside the Knapp Center at Missouri State, 11-3 in conference action on the road, taking on the Drake Bulldogs, a team sitting in first at 13-1. It'll be the Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week.